Today, we're going to crack open an ancient text that's, well, it's a surprisingly modern playbook for our chaotic lives. We're talking about the Bhagavad Gita. So let's see how this ancient wisdom can actually guide us right here, right now.
So let me ask you something. Does your life ever feel like just a nonstop battle? You know, this relentless race filled with pressure, anxiety, and just so much uncertainty. If you're nodding along, you're definitely not alone. That feeling of being totally overwhelmed, it's pretty much a hallmark of modern life. So let's try something. Let's compare our modern struggles to the crisis of this ancient warrior, Arjuna. Okay, so for you, the battlefield might be deadlines, social pressure, all that stuff. For him, yeah, it was a literal battlefield. But the inner conflict, the doubt, the fear, the guilt, that emotional attachment, that's exactly the same. It just goes to show you some struggles are absolutely timeless. All right, let's dive into that idea. Our first section is all about the modern-day battlefield, and we're going to see just how closely this ancient crisis really does mirror our own.
Okay, so picture this. This is Arjuna's big moment of crisis. He's on the edge of this massive, world-changing war, and he looks across the battlefield, and he sees his relatives, his teachers, all on the other side, and he just freezes. He's totally paralyzed by the consequences, by the guilt, by all his attachments. You see, this isn't just a story about some ancient warrior. It's a deeply human story about what it's like to face impossible choices and all the emotional turmoil that comes right along with them. So, what do you do when you're completely paralyzed like that? Where does Arjuna find guidance? Well, he turns to an ancient guidebook. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in our next section. And that guide is the Bhagavad Gita. Now, it's really important to get this. It's not a rule book. It's not some list of do's and don'ts. It's actually a 700-verse dialogue between the struggling Arjuna and his guide, Krishna. A better way to think of it is like a practical manual for navigating life's biggest challenges with real clarity and purpose. And hey, this isn't some obscure, dusty old text we're talking about. It's been translated into 82 languages. I mean, think about that. That's a huge testament to its universal appeal, cutting across cultures and centuries. Now, here's a really crucial point. Krishna isn't some distant, untouchable god in this story. He's right there in the thick of it, acting as a mentor, a friend, a philosopher. He's helping Arjuna reframe his whole problem, manage his emotions, and ultimately find the clarity he needs to actually do something. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Let's connect the dots in our third section, Wisdom for Modern Problems. We're going to take these ancient principles and apply them directly to the challenges we're all facing today. First up, the big one, the battle against stress. I mean, modern life really is an exhausting race, isn't it? It's fueled by this hyper-competitive world and this constant nagging fear of failure. And that pressure, to succeed at all costs, it's become a huge source of anxiety for so many of us. So what's the Gita's solution to all this stress? Well, it's a really powerful concept called nishkama karma. And you can basically break it down into 3 steps. Step 1, just fulfill your responsibilities. Do your job to the best of your ability. Step 2, and yeah, this is the hard part, you have to detach from the results, from success and from failure. And finally, step 3, find your peace, your purpose in the process itself, not just in whatever the final outcome is. There's actually a verse from the text that just captures this idea perfectly. It's a call for what you might call mental equilibrium. It's about being able to act with clarity and dedication because you're not being yanked around by the emotional highs of success or the crushing lows of failure. All right, let's switch gears to another modern battlefield, loneliness. And this isn't just a feeling, right? It's a real, measurable social trend. I mean, just look at data from Europe, for example. It shows this steady climb in single-person households. Now, of course, living alone doesn't automatically make you lonely, but when you combine that trend with less community interaction, well, it's leaving more people feeling isolated than ever before. What's fascinating is the Gita's answer to this kind of internal struggle. What Krishna does is guide Arjuna to shift his mindset, to reevaluate his fears. And this technique, we actually have a modern name for it now, cognitive restructuring. It's the absolute foundation of modern cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. This whole process of reframing your internal story is an incredibly powerful tool against the anxiety and depression that so often go hand in hand with loneliness. But the battlefield isn't just in our heads, is it? It's also external. Let's be honest, unchecked human ambition has seriously disrupted our planet's natural balance.
And now we're facing the consequences, right? The floods, the wildfires. It's like nature is trying to restore an equilibrium that we're the ones who broke.
The Gita's perspective on this is one of profound interconnectedness. There's a verse that basically reminds us that everything in nature, living and non-living, is interdependent. It's really a call for a shift in perspective, to see ourselves not as masters of the planet, but as caretakers, as stewards within this incredibly delicate system.
And you know what? This wisdom isn't just for self-help books. It's actually being integrated into formal systems, like education. And that brings us to Section 4, the new school of thought, where we'll see just how these ancient ideas are shaping modern classrooms. A perfect example of this is India's National Education Policy from 2020. A huge part of this new policy is integrating what's called the Indian knowledge system right into the mainstream curriculum. And the goal here is pretty clear, to move beyond just memorizing facts and instead to foster a much more holistic, well-rounded development for students. So how does that actually work in practice? Well, they're taking these ancient concepts and mapping them directly to modern educational goals. For instance, there's something called the Panchkosh theory, which is about the 5 layers of human being. That's used to inform holistic development. Then you've got the Triguna theory, which helps provide insights into different student personalities. And of course, epics like the Gita are used to teach values and talk through complex ethical dilemmas.
And the results? They're pretty compelling. Studies on students who actually engage with these teachings show real, tangible benefits. We're talking improved mental clarity and focus, enhanced problem-solving abilities, stronger leadership qualities, and maybe the most important one of all for today's world, greater resilience and stress management. Okay, so all of this brings us to our final section, and it's a really crucial point. The Gita's wisdom isn't something you just read and forget about. It's not passive. Now it's your turn to act. It's so important to remember this. The Gita is not a magic wand. It's not going to make all your problems just disappear. What it does offer is a framework for how to think, a set of tools for how to act, and a perspective that helps you endure. Think of it like a guide for the journey, not a treasure map to some problem-free paradise. After Krishna guides Arjuna all the way through his despair, this is his powerful final message. It's basically a command. Get up, face your duty, engage with the battle that's right in front of you, and do it with courage and resolve. And really, that's the question this ancient text leaves for every single one of us, right here in our modern world. In the battle of your life, with all of its deadlines, its pressures, and its uncertainties, how will you choose to act?